Hey, Raw Knuckles fans. I just launched a new podcast on its own channel called Tough as They Come. It's a podcast that showcases stories from people who've been to hell and back, stories that resonate with all of us. You're about to see our first episode with legendary boxer Irish Micky Ward. Make sure to click the links in the description to subscribe to the Tough as They Come YouTube page and wherever you listen to podcasts so you never miss an episode. Today on Tough as They Come, we have Micky Ward, Irish Micky Ward, that is. Professional boxer, had 51 fights, grew up just outside of Boston in Lowell, Mass. And let me tell you, 3 of those fights, the trilogy of fights, were the best fights you've ever seen. I'm telling you, if you go back and take a peek at these, and you gotta, the punishment these 2 guys gave out, Ward and Gatti, was just incredible. To be able to bounce back after 2 of those fights, where Gatti won one, Ward won the other one, and then to go into that 3rd fight knowing that you're going to take a beating, you're going to give one, but you're going to take one, is just incredible. Micky's life was portrayed by Mark Wahlberg in The Fighter. You don't want to miss this one. Micky Ward coming up.
Walking on thin ice, I'm gonna roll that dice till the thrill has gone. I wanna play with fire. I'm gonna play
Good
with
to see you.
You too, bud.
Irish Micky Ward, my man. Listen, well, thanks for taking the time to come on. Really appreciate it.
No problem, bud.
And we're doing a new segment on our podcast called Tough as They Come.
Yeah.
And when I thought of people that are tough in life, and it's not just boxers, and it's not just, guys who, UFC guys or soldiers. Right. There's all sorts of toughness in our world. But certainly when I was thinking about who I could have on, one of the first people I wanted to have was you. So that's why I reached out. I'm so glad you come on.
Thank you, bud. I appreciate it.
Yeah. And good to see you. I remember last time I saw you, I wasn't in good shape, as you know, right?
Yeah.
I came to your golf tournament, and that's was back before Knuckles got sober, and I was like, oh, my God. Yeah. I was a mess, but that's...
You were good, though. You were good, kid.
Good. That's all by me now.
Yeah.
So let's get into it. You know what I wanted to talk about? And I loved the movie The Fighter. I mean, I just absolutely loved it. And so Wahlberg apparently was trying to get that movie made for like 10 years. Like he was, and they were stonewalling him. Were you part of that process? How'd that come about? Did he come to see you and say, hey, Mick, I want to do a movie on you?
Yeah, it kind of started as a little documentary, like with a guy, Keith Dorrington, from back on this area. Yeah. And he shopped it around. I guess Mark got a hold of it out there and loved the concept of it. And Mark took a hold of it and he made it happen, But it started as a little documentary with me and my brother Dicky, and like I said, the kid Keith Dorrington did it with a guy Richie Farrell from around here, around Lowell and stuff, and they shopped it out to L.A. and Mark got a hold of it, and Mark was a fan of mine and stuff. I never knew that, but he was a boxing fan and a fan of mine, and then one thing led to another, and Mark ended up getting a hold of it, and Mark made it happen. He got it done.
Yeah, he certainly did, and got it done the big way. And awesome. First of all, you need a good story, and the story is awesome. And the way they portrayed it was incredible.
Right.
Won some Academy Awards, right? Christian Bale was incredible as your brother, the pride of Lowell.
He
right?
played Dicky better than Dicky himself. If that's possible, Chris.
It's funny. I watched one clip of you and Dicky together.
Yeah.
When you were talking, the clip I'm talking about. The 2 of you are sitting there, and they're asking you, "What's your relationship really like?" And you say, "It's like brothers, and we had our issues and all that." And when I heard him talking, all I could think is how what a great actor Christian Bale was to get he nailed your brother. Like, it was
Oh,
incredible.
yeah, 100%.
So we talk about the fighter, the movie. Now, what are the parts in that film, I guess, that what Hollywood and not so much the real story of Micky Ward? Like, here's what I thought. When I saw the fight, right, with your brother outside the bar, is that when you hurt your hand?
Yeah, well, that's how it started originally, and then from that, from using it like in the gym, like too soon or all the time, it just got worse and worse, and it never like got a chance to heal. Chris, you know, so what happened? It formed in my right hand formed a bone deficiency, I guess they call it. It was deteriorating and stuff, so they had to like do surgery on it to take a bone out of my pelvis, put it in my hand with like three screws, and so that's how they fixed it.
So they fixed it up, and certainly not an easy surgery. I've had those done, and with the screws in my body, and it takes a while. But to when you're talking about boxing and using it like you do, it's incredible that it held up for you as long as it did, right? Yeah,
it's still good today. To this day, I had to have one of the screws taken out a few years back because it was bothering me. So, but it was harder to get that screw out than to put it in because it was like those bone already grown over and stuff, you know?
Yeah.
But they got it out, and it's good now, you know. I got 2 screws still in there, and it's good. It's great. Dr. Margot's out of Lady Clinic. I think he's retired now, but he did a great job on it.
Yeah. Now, growing up in Lowell, and certainly an old factory town from years ago, tough, hard scrabble neighborhood, no question about it. You grew up in 7 sisters.
Yes.
And Dicky, your half brother, right? That's
yeah.
That's the clan. So growing up in that household, and listen, I grew up for 2 sisters, brother, but the chaos of an Irish household, I understand that for sure. But with all those sisters, my God.
It's whether I got any hair.
I know.
I remember how many times it got pulled out of my head.
Really? So
I think that's how I learned how to fight.
So, your brother goes off and has his boxing career. He starts at Dicky, and I guess when did it come into the picture for you? When watching your brother, was that it? Were you around the gym as a kid? How did that come about? Yeah.
I used to go. My first fight I was 7 years old. I fought at the Lynn Harbor House. It was like on Lynn, Mass, right? It was like outside. It was this hotel. They call it the Harbor House Hotel or whatever it was, and they used to have fights there at night, like outside and stuff. So I fought my first fight ever. I fought there, and it's funny, right? Is the person I fought was Freddie Roach's brother, Joey.
Oh, okay.
A kid from Dedham.
Yeah.
He was a couple of years older than me. And I was 50 pounds, Chris, and he was like 50 pounds, 52 pounds. And that was my first fight, and that's how I got started, going to the gym with Dicky and stuff like that.
So you certainly looked up to your brother. And how old were you, like, when he fought Ray Leonard?
I was I believe I was he was 20, I was 12. He's 8 years older than me, yeah.
So you saw the Leonard fight.
Yes, I was there, yeah.
You were at the fight.
I can see myself in the crowd now when I watch it.
Really?
Oh my God, that can't be me.
I'm going to have to look for it.
Yeah, you can see me in the crowd. I mean, you got to look. You can't see me too good, but yeah.
So who was Dicky's trainer when he fought Leonard?
Dicky's trainer was Johnny Dunn out of Johnny Dunn's out of Chelsea. Out of Chelsea, Mass. Yeah, he was a great trainer out of the New Garden Gym in Boston there. He's one of the old trainers, one of the old really great trainers out of that. He, an old Italian guy, yeah.
So I want to get it from you. Did he knock Ray Leonard down, or did Ray Leonard slip? Come on.
I asked Dicky that. Well, we know, right? Dicky goes, "What do you think?"
What do you think? He puts it on you.
Yeah, exactly. He goes, "What do you think?" I goes, I don't know. I says, he looked like he tripped.
Yeah.
Right? He goes, all right. He goes, I'll take it.
So you grow up, you basically idolize your brother, right?
Yeah.
In the ring, growing up. And what was that relationship like when you started really to get into the game and he was out of it now a little bit? Was he training you? Was he there? I know he had some issues away from the ring, right?
Yeah.
But how frustrating was that for you? Because in the movie we see it, right? He's out doing his thing, running around like crazy, and missing training with you and all that stuff. How true was that? Was it often?
It's true. 100% true. There's times, there's things in a movie, Chris, right, that were worse, things that weren't as bad, but in that part there, and this is the God's honest truth, he'd be up for Chris. I'd come to the gym, he'd be there. He'd be up all night doing this thing, right? You know what he's doing, obviously, right? He'd come to the gym. I don't know how the hell he'd get in the gym, right? Or where he get the energy, right? We know where he got the energy, but right? He'll spar with me, spar 5, 6, 7 rounds with me, right? Go back to the house he came from, right? Go do the same thing. I'd pick him up the next morning, run by, and this is no word of a lie. I would run by, he'd come out, right, with the same clothes on almost, right, or sweatpants on, whatever, right? Run with me, go back up again, and do that. I'm like, but it's just, I don't know how he did it, you know what I mean? But he did it.
Yeah,
I don't know.
It's incredible, and certainly, I guess no one really knew you as well as he did as a fighter, right? Because
100%, yeah. He knew what made me go, what made me click. He knew my body probably as well as I did, my strengths and things like that. And people always said, get rid of him. He's no good. He's this. He's doing, you shouldn't be around that. But that I grew up around it, so it wasn't no big deal to me. I realized that I had a job to do, and I didn't care who did it, whatever, right? I had to win, I had to fight, I had to train. I didn't do that stuff. So, I had a good mindset to not really do stuff he did, you know what I mean?
Yeah, and certainly you proved that in the ring and all that. But so working with your brother and him knowing you so well, how was that? Because he was a different fighter than you. There's no question about it, right? Explain me the difference, or the listeners out there, the difference from Dicky Eklund to Micky Ward and the way you fight.
Right. See, the difference, right, Chris, was he was very good, great boxer, good jab. He had speed, speed obviously, as we know, generates power. So he had a little bit of power. He had some power, but he had really smart. He's very smart in the ring. He was just like more. I had to work for everything I got pretty much. He was more of a natural, Chris. Things just come off easy for some reason. Like I would have to work at it. You know what I mean? It would just come easy to him. Whatever. The way, I don't know why, but that's just the way it was. And he was just a natural fighter, and he's natural. Whatever he did, he was a good runner. He could fight, box. You know what I mean? He was good. He's just a natural,
So you fought amateur fights, right? You talked about when you were young there, fighting the amateur fights, and now you're working your way through. You win the Golden Gloves, 3 times? New England Golden Gloves. And now you're going to turn pro, and that happens back in '85. In your first fight against David Morin. How was that first pro fight, knowing you're there, and here's my big day? What was the feeling like inside of you, knowing that, geez, I got to go, I want to win this thing, my first fight. I don't want to lose my first one.
Check this out, right, Chris? Listen to this. So we're talking about the first fight. Now I got my first pro fight, training for it. Good thing the old guy came to be in my corner because Dicky didn't show up.
Okay, he didn't. Now the old guy, was that the cop?
No. It was the guy, Johnny Dunn, the guy that trained Dicky before. He used to be in my corner with Dicky.
Okay.
Before the cop, Mickey O'Keefe. But Dicky, I think he was caught in the house somewhere. If you know what I mean.
Yeah. He got caught in the
Chris,
house.
I was just used to it. I'm gonna go in there and fight, and we'll lose in my corner. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna fight as hard. So.
Okay, so that first fight, you're in the locker room before the fight, and Dicky's not there, doesn't come, so you got a job to do. But how was that first bout, and did you get a boost of confidence from that after that win?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty confident. Obviously the nerves, you always have nerves. I don't care what. I had even that little bit of nerves on my 52nd pro fight. It's good to have a little bit of nerves because you go in there a little more cautious. You don't go in there crazy because if you're not nervous, you just go in there, throw shit to the wind or whatever. You know what I mean? I fought better on a little bit of nerves because you don't go in there crazy. Yeah. Obviously, now I'm not nerves to make you nervous. No.
Yeah.
But a little bit of nerves. You know what I mean? It was more of the unknown, Chris, at the end. You know what I mean? Like what can happen? Not about winning or losing or getting cut or my nose or my face, whatever. That didn't matter. I didn't care about that. It was the unknown. What are you gonna get hurt or are you gonna do this or whatever? That's what I got more worried about.
Yeah.
I didn't care about the guy who's fighting how hard I would get punched. 'Cause I knew I was gonna get punched. That's just part of it.
Yeah, for sure. Now you have 14 fights. Your first 14 fights, you go undefeated. You're 14-0. You gotta feel a little bit invincible. Now. You strike me as the type of guy that doesn't let that go to your head, and I'm sure you weren't. But human nature is, shit, I got this going on. And then all of a sudden you come to Edwin Cruitt in fight 15, and then things kind of change for you, your first loss. How difficult was that for you to handle afterwards? Do you think, were you in the fight? What was it like?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it was a split decision loss. He was a very experienced fighter. He had fought some big fights. I actually spotted Edwin at Pratinelli's gym in Brockton a bunch of times before that. Not before that fight, but, a year before or whatever when I was an amateur and stuff. So I knew who he was. I knew he was tough. He was just he was kind of like a Spanish guy. And, it was a very close fight. It was like, if you went by points, I would have won by 1 point. But two judges voted for him and two judges voted for him and one for me. It was 96-95, 96-95,
so it was close.
97-94. So we won split decision. But to get to your question it didn't bother me. It bothered me because it was the first loss. But I just kind of said I gotta train harder. Maybe I gotta do this, that. I just try to get better every time I lost.
Yeah. So, and looking at your record, and that's what listen, obviously I didn't see every fight, and certainly we talk about the trilogy and we'll get there, but I want to go through that part of your career where, you're climbing the ladder, you're trying to get that title shot. Yeah. And boxing certainly did not have boxing back in that day was awesome. People loved the game, but, with the promoters and all the bullshit that went along with it, a lot of people kind of didn't care for that part of it, right?
No, exactly.
Right?
Yeah,
along with the boxers, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Was that tough with you? Like your mother handled your stuff, did she? Alice,
at the beginning, she did. At
the
very beginning, she did. But then I had a couple of different managers and people that took care of stuff, and you can never freaking probably trust anybody but someone close to you. You know what I mean? So it's like it sucks when you gotta worry about the guy you're fighting, worry about the guy taking care of you, worry about this one, worry about that. You know what I mean? But I mean that's just the game, I guess. Is it fair? No, it's not fair at all. But that's just the game, I guess.
So with your mom handling your stuff, right?
Yeah.
You trusted her, right?
Yeah, 100%.
So you trust your mom. All of a sudden, when you break away from mom, was it difficult for you to say, "Listen, I'm going to let this other person in to handle my stuff now"?
No, right? Yeah, no, it wasn't because I knew it was time to move up because you can only go so far. You know what I mean? She had the right, she had the right ideas as far as taking care of me and this and that, but she didn't have the connections. She, you had to go with the brass and like New York, Vegas, whatever. You know what I mean, Chris?
Yeah.
She just didn't have she didn't have the pull or not like that the guys got.
So was that for you? Like it's in the movie, it portrayed a certain way. Was that difficult for you to split from her? Was she okay with that at the time?
Yeah.
Did it affect your relationship?
She was fine with it. Yeah, she was fine with it. She didn't mind it. She just wanted whatever was best for me.
Yeah, and she realized that for you to really move up and get a shot, probably
I had
to be with someone else. Well, that's good. So you go on. You lost the first one. You lose a couple more. The 20th fight, your 22nd fight.
Yeah.
So you get 3 losses. You're 24 and 21 and 3, and then your last fight there, the 24th fight at the Heinz in Boston, Ravello, you beat him, and then you go on this streak of 4 losses.
Yeah.
Now, what's going on there? And I say that because, geez, 4 in a row. You lose a fight, boom. Because in boxing, you lose 4 in a row, and especially back in the day, right? It's like, this fucking guy's done, see you later.
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
No
Put
good.
him on a shelf or whatever. But, what's crazy is those 4 fights, I fought, they were tough fighters I fought. And
Brazier?
what happened is I lost that first one, and instead of taking an easy fight or two, getting back, Chris, I fought a tougher fight, and then after that, I fought a tough one. So that was all on ESPN, right? And then this is not against ESPN or nothing, but I was competitive and stuff. So, and plus, I was a white guy, which is very uncommon, and it's just the way it is. You know what I mean? I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I was white and I was tough and probably good for TV. And so they were using. Then all of a sudden I start losing. Now they throw you in with the guys that are like, now they use you as the opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
No more you the golden egg no more. Now you're the guy. That's kind of what happened. You know what I mean? And then I had to fight all the tougher guys, and it just one thing after another after that.
Yeah, when you started losing like that, and Christ, how did that feel? Like, you're going good, you lose those 4 in a row, you get the media talking about you, everybody's saying you're washed up. How difficult is that because let's face it, you do have people around you, but when you're alone, and you're sitting with that's gonna be suck. That's gonna suck. It's gonna be tough to consume and then process.
Yeah, that's when you do a lot of soul searching or like saying, is this worth it? You know what I mean? Is it true? You know what I mean? Is all
you
this...
question yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly.
A little bit.
100%. But then you got to say, listen, I know if I can just get on the right track or whatever, if I get the right, whether it's the right fight, the right this, whatever it might be, right? As long as I can get an edge, I'll be better or whatever. And I never gave up faith. You know what I mean, Chris? I just kept plugging away, and that's what. And then it became what it became. Whoever thought it would become that when I was losing 4 or 5 to have what I ended up with my career?
No, I know. That's the thing, and that's why, I was thinking how difficult that must be to deal with, because I'll just say, listen, I fought in the ice, whole different thing, but still that mentality, when I got older and fighting, I started fighting, and I'm fighting guys that are a lot bigger than me, and you have one of them, and we'll talk about that, but a lot bigger than me. And, as I got older, I was starting to question myself a little bit because, one night I'm fighting Stu Grimson. He's 6'6" on skates, 240. And then the next night, another guy, Jim McKenzie, and I'm 34 at the time, and that's old for a hockey player, right? But I was like, I get back to the bench, I'm like, wow, this is getting tough. I hung in there and did it, but I was losing my fastball, and that was hard to come to grips with, because me in a team sport, I can't show that weakness, right? Guys relied on me for that. And if I was like, you know, hey guys, you know, stuff tonight, you know. Yeah, so it was pretty hard. So, but you really have no one to bounce that off. Yeah, you get your trainers and stuff, but you not like you have a teammate that can bail you out.
Right. That's the hard part too. Is like when you're out there and you're tired. If you're not training, if you don't train hard, or you have a bad fight or whatever, you're on your own. You're like either you get your ass kicked or you quit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I would never.
Did the thought enter your mind though?
I'd rather get knocked out cold than quit.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay. So that thought never entered your mind. You lose those 4 in a row.
No.
And you have this. Well. Just knowing your career, that determination and that undying desire to win and not give up. And you just said it there. You're never going to quit. Now, how did you, all right, losing that 4th one, you take the next fight. That was October 91. You didn't fight for 3 years later. What did you do? What did you say? I'm going to get my shit together here. I got to get back on track.
Right. Well, what happened was I got away. Chris, I got burnt out. What happened was like I told you a few minutes ago, is I got used. I got thrown in with all these fighters after another, and I said that. You know, I said I'm not being used as a stepping stone. I said I'm the hell with it. I'm done. I'm walking away from it. So I was planning on quitting.
So you were bitter. You were bitter.
Yeah, very bitter, right? Yeah. And then after 3 years, I realized that I was still young enough. And then when I came back, Chris, I came back on my own terms. It was my desire to come back, not somebody else tell me to come back.
Yeah.
I came back because I wanted to, and that's where everything kind of changed. You know, like I did it for myself instead of everyone around me. Maybe, you know.
Yeah. Well, I got to tell you, coming back, and thank God you did, because you did. I mean, you ripped off what, 9 in a row or 10 in a row until you lost to Phillips. But I mean, like incredible to do that and just start nipping them again. Now, when you were going through the tough time, the 4 losses, and now you start winning again, what's the difference with the people around you? All right, when you're losing. When you're losing, it's one thing, and you know who your friends are. Then you start winning again. Did you have any people that showed up that you were like, you know what, fuck off, see you later?
Yeah, 100%.
Right?
Still to this day, I say that walking by a mic to myself.
Right?
You know
I don't blame you.
Because you know yourself, right? When you're on top, everyone's, yeah. But when you're down, they're like I can remember being like, when I lost those fights, I remember going in a bar, whatever, down in the area, whatever, and people like guys saying, he should have gave up a long time ago and all that. You know, you don't hear it like for your own. You can hear it through other people, kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, mother effer, you know what I mean? I'm like, all right. I don't say nothing to him, you know what I mean? I don't want to get in trouble, you know what I mean, or whatever, because it ain't worth it.
Yeah.
I probably should have did something, but I didn't. And, you know, I just try to show him, like at the end, I had the last laugh, actually. So it worked out, Chris, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. No question.
If I would have listened to the guys saying, oh, Mickey should quit or this, that, right, I'd still be on the same bar still as they are. Right now, to this day, I can get on the bar and still see where they are.
Yeah, they're still down there too, right?
Exactly, yeah, still paying their tab deal.
Yeah. Don't forget to click the links in the description to subscribe to the Tough As They Come YouTube page so you never miss an episode. So, in the movie, obviously, Charlene. Right?
Yes.
You meet Charlene working at the bar. She was an athlete herself, right? A high jumper, right?
Yeah, very good.
She went to URI, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, University of Rhode Island.
Yeah, now, she was an all-scholastic New England champ, all that stuff, yeah.
Yeah, so when you meet her, like in the movie, Wahlberg, he's a little, you know, kind of enamored with her behind the bar. How was the real Mick? What happened there? How did you meet Charlene? I want to hear the love story.
I had a bar, yeah. But not like that, though.
Yeah.
I was getting ready for a fight. I went in there, it was my friend Kenny, his sister, you know. So I went down here and I seen her, and I wasn't drinking at the time because I was training.
Yeah.
But I just went in there. I went in there to see if the guy that owned it. He was a good friend of mine. His family owns it, so I went in there and I hang out. I got something to eat in there and like some fish or whatever it was, and just hung out. And I seen her, and she was home on leave on college or whatever.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
vacation, school vacation.
Yeah. I say on leave like she was in jail. So we just started talking, and I was quiet. I wouldn't say nothing really much to her, and that's how it started like that. But I didn't give her my number, well, she didn't give me her number. I pursued her more, and finally she went out with me one time, and from that time on, we never been away from each other.
That's awesome.
That was 1999. Yeah.
99. So you meet Charlene, and she comes into the picture. Geez, probably at a time when you're just really coming into those big fights at the end with Gatti, right? Arturo.
Yeah.
So 99. That's 3 years later. But she comes in. Was she? Yeah. Okay. The Neri fight. So she must have been with you at the Neri fight, right?
She was over in London with me. Yeah.
Yeah. So now Charlene's there, and in the movie they portray it like, your sisters want to kill her, your mother want to kill her.
Yeah. Well, there's no love lost there, believe me.
Really? So there's some truth to that.
Fight. No fist fights, but there's no love lost.
Yeah. So why was that? Did they feel like your sisters and your mom feel like, oh, Charlene's coming in taking our Micky away? Or,
no, I don't think so. I think it was just more of, who is she? Who does she think she is? I don't know. You know how the family is. You know what I mean? And, maybe because I stopped going over my mother's house every day and listening to the gossip. Who knows?
All the girls chirping away, right? All the hens.
Yeah, 100%.
So, Charlene, what did she think? I mean, she grew up in Lowell, so tough town.
She grew up in she grew up in Lowell. Started in Lowell. Then she moved to Groton when she was she went to Groton High School and all that.
Okay, but still, she knows the deal in Lowell. It's a tough town. So, but did she know what she was getting into on the boxing end of it, and how? No. What kind of effect did she have on you in your career as you move forward when you met her?
Yeah. Who I was at all. Like
did she like boxing? Did she like boxing?
No,
not at all.
No, not at all. No, she don't like sports, but not boxing, and no. So there was nothing like that, But she didn't care. She really didn't even know who. Didn't even heard of me or nothing like that, which is good. I really wasn't doing. I was doing better, but I wasn't doing great at the time. So
yeah.
But I started working out, and everything came to what it came to.
And she supported you. Obviously, she went over the. So when she sees that fight in London, Shea Neri, where you win the welterweight title, right?
Junior welter,
Junior welter, but you go all the way over there. She travels with you and watches that fight. Listen, you deal with it all the time. That's your career. But how was it for her, that first fight? Was it like, what was she like afterwards? Nervous, scared?
Good. That was her, fourth fight with me. The title. I fought like a fight at Hampton Beach once, one-on-one fight at Hampton Beach. I fought
Corbin.
One in Hampton Beach. I fought one in Salem, New Hampshire, and that was my third fight with her. But and I had two really tough fights there. But she didn't. I mean, she liked boxing, but she didn't care for it. But it was just something I did. So she followed.
And she supported you. She supported you. Well, that's awesome. Yeah. That's awesome. She was in your corner. Now, I want to get to certainly your twin, as he would say. He always wondered what it was going to be like if he found his twin, and he did in you, and that's Arturo Gatti. Now, I'm living up in Montreal now, and certainly Arturo, it's a shame. I watched a documentary on what might have happened to him over in Brazil, which is, yeah, who knows? But I look at that guy's face, and I played hockey against a guy named Ted Nolan. And
Yep.
Ted was a native from up here, and he was a really good hockey player. He coached in the NHL, and I had him on my podcast. And I never realized how much those two look. They look like they could be brothers.
Really, huh?
Oh, it's incredible. So now you fight Jesse James in Texas, and you lose that fight. That's your 48th fight.
Right.
How in the hell do you get to fight this guy Gatti? Like, he's had a pretty big name on the way up. Was that one of those, like, okay, this is a stepping stone fight for Gatti?
Right. Well, see, the thing is when I fought Lehar, Jesse James Lehar in Texas, right?
Yeah.
They know I hit him with a left hook and cut him open, and they stopped the fight. They stopped the fight, like, after the 4th, 5th round, whatever. They had to go so many rounds, and, whoever's ahead gets the decision, And they stopped the fight knowing he was ahead, and they stopped it. Like,
okay.
It was not. It was a left hook.
So it wasn't really a loss.
It wasn't a headbutt.
Yeah.
And you could see that it was no headbutt at all in it. And so I think on HBO, because HBO was they had Gatti, and they knew I was an exciting fighter, and I think giving me the Gatti fight was kind of like a reward for, like, screwing me through the Lehar fight.
Okay, got you. I got you.
I think that's why they gave me Lehar. Because the Lehar fight, if that would have won few more rounds, I think I would have stopped him. I was bigger than him. I was a lot bigger than him. He was a very. I'm not taking that away from Jesse. He's a good friend of mine now, and he's a great kid.
Yeah.
But I think I was gonna catch up to him later on in the fight. But who knows? Maybe I would have lost. I don't know, but I don't think so.
That's a shitty part of boxing right there, though. What you were just talking about, right? That a lot of people don't know behind the scenes what goes on and how difficult that is. It's not an easy thing to deal with. Now, wow. The Gatti, the trilogy, and I guess we'll start at the top, and we might as well. And that first fight, you must have felt pretty good about that. It was at Mohegan Sun in Connecticut, so you're kind of home base more than he is. He's in. At least you're in your own country, and you're in New England. So that first fight, how did you train up for that? And when I say that,
I train hard.
For a guy like Gatti, how do you train for him? And did you have to adjust your style at all?
No,
to fight him, or it fit you perfect?
No, it fit me perfect, right? I didn't change nothing. I did like I always did, but I ran extra hard. I trained extra hard. I did everything hard. I mean, figuring this is like I got to give everything I have in this one because this kid, he doesn't stop. You know what I mean? He's like a sponge. You know what I mean? He just takes everything.
Yeah.
So I knew I was in for a tough fight. I knew. I just knew something. I was going to either the hospital or something because I knew I was going to be a tough fight, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I just trained my ass off, Chris, and I got ready, and I just got mentally ready. I was so ready for that first fight. I was going to be hard to beat, but it was a great fight.
Yeah, there's no question. Well, come on. Fight of the century.
Yeah.
I mean, that is incredible. And certainly you and him, one of the top 3 fights of all time. That's fucking incredible, Mick. Like,
I know.
It's incredible what you guys did. I watched that today. I watched it yesterday. I watched it again. The 9th round is fucking insanity. Like, I don't know how you're still standing. And him, the fucking left hook you hit him in the ribs with or in the kidney?
And the liver,
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Like,
I didn't think he was going to get up.
I didn't either. And then up he comes.
Chris, when he went down, right? When he went down and they put me in the opposite corner, like as they're giving him the count.
Yeah.
right? The kind you counting, and I'm acting like come on, let's go, right?
Yeah.
But I'm saying inside my head, please stay down,
Yeah,
please stay down.
yeah.
He get up, I go, you mother effer, you son of a bitch. I'm like, stay down, right? But I'm saying to the crowd like come on, right? I'm like, oh, please stay down.
Oh,
But he
Christ,
get up,
what
I'm
a,
like, you bastard.
yeah, I know. What a sad story when I think of this guy and I look at him. Good looking kid, all that tough.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, he was a great guy, man.
Yeah, and well, I want to get into that in a bit, but so you're in that fight and say that ninth round, because it's like an insane round. Just
Yeah.
punch after punch. None of this dancing around, fucking hiding, rope a dope, none of that stuff. But
Yeah.
did you know, and I know you don't have a whole lot to think about that time to think, but did you know that you were like in this fight that one day probably going to be one of the best fights ever, like it was? Like
Yeah.
fight of the century?
It's funny you say that because people had asked me that, and it's like when you like obviously like when you're in a hockey game and a great game and blah, blah,
Yeah.
you kind of go so fast that you don't really grasp it right then until you watch it after and you hear the people talking and you like look after it. I mean, you watch the game or I watched the fight, and then you realize that like all the people talking about it, and then you know, because I don't really look at the fights a lot, my fights, you know what I mean? So, but yeah, I look back at it and it's like, wow, you know, you kind of like you don't realize how special it was till it's over, and like, you know, till the trilogy was over pretty much. But you know, now you look, you not now, but like a few years back, you look back, everyone's talking about it. You think, wow, it was that special, you know, and you know, and it's just great to be part of something like that where 4 years before that, 5 years before that, people in the bar saying, why is he coming back?
Yeah, you were done. Everybody
You know,
writing
yeah.
you off, the sons of
Yeah.
bitches, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's funny, the sports fans, you know, and having played a professional sport and you being a professional boxer,
Right.
and it's funny, I'll watch a game with someone now, right? And they're that
Right.
fucking bomb, that no good, so he missed the net, or, you know. You're like, they think it's so fucking easy, right? Oh,
Wow.
yeah. Isn't that funny, though? Like,
Yeah.
everybody thinks, you know, you're washed up, and here you have, you went you lost 2 of the 3 fights, but
Yeah.
not by much. By this.
No, right.
By,
The second
by,
one I lost by big, but the first and
Yeah.
third were a little
Yeah.
playoff.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. You know, like just you know, you listen to them people, and that's why I'm glad I never listened to them.
So that fight, the first one,
Yeah.
you're in it. Up until that point, had you had as tough a fight as that one? So you kind of said, I've been there before.
Maybe the year before that, 2001, I got Fight of the Year Ring Magazine with Emmanuel Augustus.
Yeah.
We threw like we each threw probably like 1,200 punches or something, 1,100 punches in 10 rounds. Yeah, we got Fight of the Year on ESPN, and for Ring Magazine we got Fight of the Year, and that was tough too. But and I had some tough fights, but the Gatti one was just tough all the way through. You know, where a lot of fights are tough. At points they're tough, and then that there's a little bit not relaxing, but it's not as tough. You know what I mean? They're tough. You gotta be careful because anytime you could be knocked out or whatever. But the Gatti fight was just tough all the way through.
I'm gonna stay with Gatti, but I gotta ask you about the Munjan fight.
Yeah.
And I forgot because I was talking about your first loss, but the Munjan fight, like, was he was 20 pounds heavier than you?
He was like I think he was 18 pounds heavier or something like that. He was a lot bigger than me. You know, and the funny thing about it is I could have not took the fight, but I was ready and I said I'll take it, you know. But I mean,
Were
they
you
didn't
pushed?
make me fight him.
No
I
one
took
makes
the
you fight him. It
wasn't
makes
my mother. It wasn't
Yeah.
my mother and them. I was the one that wanted to fight him.
Yeah.
So on TV it said my mother and them said Mickey to fight. No, they didn't want me to fight at all, and I said no, I want to fight him.
Yeah.
I was ready. I was 100. So you know what it is too, Chris? I was supposed to be 143 or 4 pounds. I come in 136.
Yeah.
I came in like real light because I was training hard. I came in like too light, and he came and he was a replacement. I was supposed to fight Sol Mamby.
Yeah.
He was a former world champion.
Yeah.
He got sick the day before. They brought this kid in, that's Munjan, on the same day of the fight, and he weighed about 154 maybe, right? And if I would have weighed 146 like I could have, right, or 145, then he would have been 10 pounds or 11.
Yeah.
But where I came in so light, he was like 18 or
okay,
whatever.
I got you. So was like, so they didn't push you to fight. It was up to you. But was that true in the movie where they say, "Oh, he just got off the couch. He hasn't been doing anything."
No,
Yeah.
that was good. That was a good line, though.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, I wonder what kind of I says to Dicky supposedly. Well, if he's up, well, I want to buy that couch or something. I don't know, or something like that.
It must work you out while you're laying on it because he looked like an animal in the ring.
No, but the kid could punch hard though.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could punch hard.
So back to Arturo Gatti. That first fight you win. Where does obviously the respect for one another has to start right there.
Yeah,
obviously.
It did. It really did, and it did. It got a lot of respect, and then they we're talking about like who we're gonna fight next, and they talking about, do you want to fight? Like I could have fought to other people. No, I want to fight Arturo again. You know what I mean? It was the best fight for me. It was a great fight. He deserves a rematch because it was so close. The first fight was like whatever, could have went either way, whatever. I said I want to fight Arturo again. And plus, it was obviously the most money. You know what I mean? But so we gave him the second shot, and and then I'll tell you the story about the third one after. After we talk about the second one. But that's how we got the second one, guy. I wanted to fight Arturo again.
What's insane to me is that you did this 3 times within a year. Like
13 months,
yeah, 13 months. Yeah, basically a year. But that's insanity. 3 fights like that. You just, I don't know.
My brain never recovered from the first one, I don't think.
But let me think. Like the second fight, you wanted to give him that, and I get that because in hockey, you fight a guy, and if you beat him and he wants a rematch during the same game, you got to give it to him. You can't say, "Oh, I'll catch you later." Say, no, you got to fight him. You got to get. Because if I lose, I want to, overcome that right away if I can. So you get the rematch. Yeah. So I get that. Listen, boxers, you're a boxer. You're a tough kid. I know that. But you're going to go back into the ring again with him, knowing that I'm going to get my ass kicked in here. I'm going to give it out too, but I'm taking my lumps. How difficult is that, knowing I'm going in? And I know you say that nervousness. I used to, before games, people say, how do you do that? You're fearless. I wasn't fearless. I was able to walk through the fear, but I had the butterflies in my stomach. You don't. Of course you're not human if you don't.
No, exactly. Everyone says, "Oh, I wasn't scared." But no one
bullshit.
Either lying or whatever, because you're scared or not scared. There's a difference between being scared and nervous.
Yeah, nervous. You get the butterflies.
You got butterflies. Yeah, and it's good to have that because you stay more cautious. You're more alert. You're more whatever. If you're not scared or whatever, you're lying or whatever.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean, and you play reckless if you know what I mean. Yeah.
For sure. So you take that. You have that second fight. The first one was in May, then November of 2002, the rematch.
Yeah.
Now, how long did it take for you to really recover from the first fight? Like, did you chill?
Yeah, I got some stitches in the first one on my eye, and I relaxed for a little bit, and I went back into the relaxed for a little. Most of the summer, and then towards the end of the summer, start training for the second one.
So the end of the summer. So you're saying like August, when you relax a bit, did you get away?
Right around September. Yeah, I've trained September, October, and I fought November. Yeah.
Yeah. So did you go to the beach and get the Irish tan? Nothing?
Yeah. Yeah, still, yeah. The Irish burn.
The Irish burn.
Yeah.
So fight 2's coming up, and this time it's at in Atlantic City Boardwalk Hall.
Yeah.
And you head down there to the bout. How did fight 2 go for you against
Well, obviously,
Arturo?
I didn't win it. What happened was when we fought, the fight started out, normal or whatever. In the third round, I believe it was, I threw a lazy jab to his belly, where I shouldn't have done it. You know what I mean? He timed it and he threw an overhand right over my jab and caught me on the ear with his right hand.
Yeah.
Right on my ear, on the back of my ear here. It partially busted my eardrum, but I went face first into the corner. I out of it. I went down.
Yeah.
And there's no word of it like, Chris. I was out of it, and I get up, and I bang my chest like I'm not hurt. Like I always do, stupid, but I like that. Right, you didn't hurt me, right?
Yeah.
And I'm all over the place. Then he's counting. He goes, "You all right?" I go, "Yeah, I'm all right." So he goes, "Okay, box." So Arturo comes across the ring. He throws 2 jabs in a right hand. Bang! Right on the button. That woke me up. No word of a lie. I was like out of it. And when he hit me with the right hand, he woke me up. I was still dazed a little bit, but I knew where I was.
Yeah.
Whereas I didn't know where I was before he hit me.
That's incredible. That's incredible.
And
It's like
the doctor told me that you can get hit again and get knocked into consciousness as well as get knocked out. It's how the brain goes. It's crazy, and I was fine after that, and I finished that round. But when the bell rang to go back to my corner, the equilibrium, I almost friggin' fell over again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Looked like I was drunk, and I just never got into the fight. I was dizzy the whole fight. But I kept trying. I just couldn't catch up to him.
Yeah, you stayed there to the end, to 10 rounds. That's unbelievable. So you take the loss there. Now it's 1-1. Now, how you obviously took some time off again. What now? You're 37, 36?
Yeah, 37.
37 years old.
I think.
Yeah, 37. And how does fight 3 come about? And are you like, this is going to settle it? This is going to settle it. Who's going to be the tougher one, me or him? Was that the mindset?
Yeah. Well, no. Well, we were just wondering if we were going to get the third because you never know, Yeah. Because Arturo was ready he could have fought for a world title.
Yeah.
He could have fought all these other people for big money. And this is a funny story because Pat Lynch told me this story. His manager, they had asked Arturo to fight. They were going to give him like a couple million to fight this one and that one, whoever, right? And Arturo said to Pat, call up HBO, tell them I will not fight anybody else but Micky Ward. He gave me the second fight. I'm giving him the third fight.
Wow.
That is what Arturo said.
I mean, that is awesome. I mean, that is a respect there for one another. Yeah. And a lot of people, that's another thing people probably can't grasp, that you two were actually really liked each other. You had
and I guess we're not in the ring room, but we did like anything.
Respect.
We exactly 100%, and we went in there try to kill each other, but it was all like at the end we became best of friends.
Yeah, like so fight 3, it could have went either way. What how's that? Talk to me about that fight.
The fight started off the same as always, like just feeling out, and like put the pressure on him, and he was outpointing me the 3rd, 4th round or whatever, I think in the 5th, and I knocked him down with an overhand right on the temple, on the top of the head at the end of the 6th, and then the fight was back and forth a little bit, 7th, and then the 8th round, 7th round, he caught me with an overhand right on the top of the head. That's when my brain shifted in my skull.
Yeah.
My eyes went like double. I was seeing double for the whole rest of the fight for the last 3 rounds, and so I had to get like a year later. I had to get double eye surgery, and they had to pull the muscles behind, make them even, and for my brain shifting, and And but I lasted throughout the last of the fight. I was like, I was dazed, but I still know I could still see what, but I was dizzy, you know.
Yeah.
But I finished the fight, and he won obviously, but
Yeah, but
that's
they were so
that's the
close.
damage that I got out of it. I had to get double eye surgery. Now I get the CTE and stuff, so
Yeah.
I'm out there.
Well, I was going to ask you about that, but quickly about your relationship
Yeah.
with Arturo. Where did you meet the first time outside the ring? Did you ever interact with him outside the ring? After the
Before
first,
our
second?
fight, or during,
No,
or after?
no. After the fight, when
Yeah.
was the first time you two came together outside a boxing ring?
Oh, I think it was at some fights. I think I might have been at my retirement party. He came to my retirement party. We hung out, and then we I think it was actually before that it was a fight like months after, like 6 months after or 5 months, whatever it was. There was
Yeah.
fights that they brought me and Arturo to, and I was with my wife Charlene, and he was with his girlfriend, and we were sitting down and people coming over, and we'd go out and we're drinking. So me and Arturo would be in the hallway for like 2 hours, people buying us drinks, and the two girls were sitting at the ringside. And where the hell are you? Where the hell are you? And we're up there drinking together, and oh man.
That must have been awesome, though. You two, the fights you had, and then you get to meet, and for him, the respect he had for you, like he met his twin, he said, and that's incredible. Like I just think it's so cool.
Right, and then I used to every fight after I fought him, I walked him out into the ring.
Oh, so when you retired, you walked him out every fight afterwards?
Every fight, yeah. Me and Chuck Zito, yeah.
Wow, so that was 1, 2, 3, 4,
Dale
5,
Earnhardt
6.
Jr. did it once too with us.
That was 7 fights. You did that.
Dale Jr. did it with us once.
He fought Mayweather, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
And wow.
And I trained him for his last fight.
Did you? Against Gomez,
I trained
right?
him for his last fight when he lost, yeah.
Yeah, so it was time. He said, I'm hanging it up. But, God, two just awesome fighters. If you like what you're hearing, remember to subscribe to the Tough As They Come podcast through the links in the description. Those glory days of boxing, what do you think of that today? Now, boxing is just, you don't see it anymore. It's not, everything's UFC now. What do you think of that, by the way? How UFC has kind of taken the sting away from boxing.
Yeah, I mean, Dana White's a good friend of mine. I like MMA. Obviously, I'm a boxing guy. You know what I mean? MMA, like, they put competitive fights on. That's what people want to see. And I think boxing now, they're starting to put fights on that people want to see, like the Gervonta Davis and the other guy there. You got now you got Errol Spence coming up with Terrence Crawford coming up. So there's you got Tyson Fury and Wilder when they fought. So you got fights that people really want to see, the best fighting the best, which is good for boxing.
Yeah.
Which they didn't have for the last like 4, 5, 10 years maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, boxing's coming back now. They're starting to put good fights together now. Like competitive fights. Like the best of fighting the best now, Chris?
Yeah.
Whereas years ago, there was so much money involved. Like the champion could fight the number 10 guy and make as much money. So why would you risk fighting number 1 when you can fight number 10 and you get as much money? So, but now they're making the best of fighting the best, which is, I think, going to bring people back to boxing.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope we can see some good fights. And I want to ask, so those 3 fights are probably your biggest paydays, right?
Yeah,
Gatti?
yeah. Oh, yeah. By far.
And it's good you got to see some decent money anyway, right? After all those years of fighting.
Right.
And you said you have the CTE now.
Yeah. Well, I got, they don't know how bad you have it, but they know if you got signs of it. And Dr. Robert Cantu from Boston Medical, he's my doctor, and Chris Nowinski, the one that stuff.
Oh yeah, I went. Yeah, I actually just went down and got tested myself.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
So
went.
Chris Lewinsky, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
So I see Doctor. I talk to Chris. I see Doctor Can too. I'm good. I try to be good. Nah, I eat pretty good. I don't drink no more. You know what I
Good
mean?
for you.
Yeah, because of the headaches that I get from the CTE, and if I drink, forget it.
Yeah,
Because
yeah,
what good
not
is it
good.
if I forget what I'm doing? So what's the good is it?
Yeah. No shit. Really.
Yeah. It's like a waste.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
like you drink for nothing, right? So,
Yeah, yeah.
so I went in. I actually just went down about 3 months ago, and I
Yeah.
did all that CTE testing and stuff. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So,
got some results, and they're actually pretty good.
oh, good,
They
good.
kind of gave me a baseline, and they're gonna.
Yeah.
But it's my first year doing it, and I'm gonna go
Yeah.
back each year, and they're gonna
Oh,
check
good.
me and
Yes. Yeah.
see if there's any
Right.
decline. Or so we'll
Right.
see.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
Because
That's good.
my friend Bob Probert, the hockey player, fighter,
Yeah. Yeah.
when he passed, his wife donated his brain to Boston University, and they
Yes.
found
Yeah.
a substantial amount of CTE
Wow.
there. So,
Yeah.
it's
Like they say, you don't know how bad you have. They say they can tell if you have the effects of it,
yeah,
but they don't know how bad it is.
yeah. They
So,
can't tell you too
yeah.
much, right? Because it's a
Yeah. Yeah.
study. So,
Exactly.
and they're learning, which
Yeah.
can only help people down the road. So,
Right.
the fight game, all right. And listen, everybody asks me, oh, I got a new knee. I've had a bunch of surgeries, my ankle
Yeah.
screws, all new teeth, everything, right?
Yeah.
People say, was it worth it?
Yeah.
And I say, yeah, I'd do it all over again. You?
Yeah. Same thing as you. I say
Right?
I would. They say, would you change your style? I say nope. That's just me. That's just the way I was. I can't change who I was. I don't want to change who I was. What maybe? And know what's funny, Chris? To get back to the crazy Dicky.
Yeah.
After when I come back in the 8th round or 7th round for one of my Gatti fights, he come at me. He goes, you know something? You can move your fucking head once in a while. I said, go f yourself. But right, but I would fight the same way, Chris.
Yeah, I know, huh?
That's just me. Maybe I would move my head a little more, but that's it.
Yeah, you get a certain way about, it's like, not everybody can float like a butterfly and sting like a bee, right? And,
Exactly.
right?
Yeah.
And not everybody can do that. Everybody get their own style,
Yeah.
and it's
and I could box younger. I boxed. That's all I did was move around the ring.
yeah.
So I got to like in my late 20s. I realized I had a good chin and I can go in.
Yeah. So let me ask you in the fight game, who are the boxers before you that maybe you wish you could have gotten in the ring with?
I don't know. I never really thought of that, Chris.
Yeah.
Obviously, I like baseball and football even more than boxing when I was younger.
Yeah.
I was, I skated on my ankles when I tried skating, so I was done. No, I wasn't that bad at it, but football and baseball was my better sports when I was younger.
How about
I never looked and said I wanted to be like someone in I wanted to be like a Butch Hobson or someone at third base, you know what I mean? Someone I was young with the Red Sox and stuff like that,
Well, when you look back, who do you think, certainly, let's say your top 3 fighters of all time, counting you out of it?
No, not me.
Wow.
I would say Ray Robinson, Muhammad Ali, and Joe Louis, maybe. I don't know.
Those are 3.
Marvin Hagler, you got Sugar Ray Leonard, you got Roberto Duran.
There's so many,
million
right?
guys I could say, but I'll go with the
Yeah. I mean, those are 3 pretty safe bets, the 3 you said.
Rocky Marciano.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. The Brockton Bomber.
Yeah.
It's funny. Christ. I was going to ask you. Marvin Hagler. You brought Marvelous Marvin. Now,
yeah, Marvin.
I met Marvin a couple of times. I met him at the Dockside in Boston. My friend was a manager there one night, and we had a few cocktails together. I love Marvelous Marvin Hagel.
Yeah, he's a great guy.
Right? And he loved to party. And anyway, I was down P-Town in the fall one year, and he had the Provincetown Inn. He put his training camp down there.
Yes,
and he used to run the goddamn dunes in his army boots. He'd get up every morning, army boots, and like that, like incredible. He had that hybrid build, right? Like, I love Marvin
He was an
Hagel.
animal.
Yeah, he was, huh?
He was a great guy. I used to see him at the Hall of Fame every year. He used to he used to he used to ride the bike at the end of the bike at the road race, a 3-mile road race, and him and his wife. He used to have such a good time. He's such a great guy. People don't understand how such a good guy he was.
Yeah, it's sad. He moved to Italy there, right? He was in the movies for a while, and then he passed away. I don't know whether he had a heart attack or something crazy.
Yeah, I don't know what it was. Yeah, something,
So, Arturo, his passing, like, were you shocked when that happened? Like, and...
Oh, yeah, 100%, Chris. I was, I couldn't believe it, I was like, no, I can't. No, I said, you got to be joking me. I didn't believe it, but yeah, it was. And when they said he did that, I'm like, no, it can't happen. He can't, that ain't him. But then, I'm not saying he did or he didn't, but it just there's no way.
No, it sounds like the fix was in down there, right?
Yeah,
they initially
100%.
Charged the wife with murder, right? They initially charged her. And then all of a sudden they're saying it was a suicide afterward. I saw the documentary.
There's something fishy there.
Yeah, there was for sure. That sucks. It's so bad, and I think
because the movie was like getting filmed at that time or whatever, or getting ready, or was being filmed, and he was supposed to come down to come down to the set and hang out with me, and like when the movie was like being filmed and all that in Lowell here.
Yeah.
And he said, when I get back, Mick, I'll come and hang out. I said, all right, I'll see you when you get back, and never made it back.
All right. Hey, listen, you've been really gracious with your time, and there's a couple things I got to ask you before I let you go.
Yeah.
One, and I love what you did with your golf tournament, because your golf tournament was to benefit boxers with head injuries, and God bless you for giving back. That, and you're still doing that, the golf tournament?
Yeah, I still do my golf tournament, but every year it's for a different cause. Yeah.
Yeah.
We did prosthetics this past year. We did it for we gave some prosthetics away, like a leg or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want you to certainly invite me to that again. I want to come down and support you on that if I can, and maybe I can get some other guys involved for you too if you need some. That and for this new Tough as They Come segment that we're going to do here on my podcast.
Yeah.
I have 3 questions I like to ask each person.
Yeah.
And the first one I want to ask is, what would 57-year-old Micky Ward, what advice would he give the 15-year-old Micky Ward? What you know today.
Listen to your inner self, or don't listen to other people. I'd say listen to yourself. Go with your heart. So
you listened a little too much to the outside.
Yeah. I'd say listen to your heart.
All right.
Or the right people, or whatever. Don't listen to all the bull.
Yeah, all the noise, and it was around you, for sure. Now I'm going to ask you.
Yeah.
To write your own, just what would you say if you had to eulogize yourself in your eulogy? What?
I just want to be remembered as a good person, not a good fighter or a good whatever.
Awesome. That's awesome, because you are a good person. And I want to ask you what your definition is of tough. What is toughness in your eyes?
A nice person and strong will.
strong will and
We
a
all
nice
get this.
person.
We all get the same size hearts, right? All of us.
Yeah.
It's the will to endure things and keep going.
Yeah.
That's what that separates people, because we all have the same size heart.
Yeah.
It's the will inside you.
I wanna play with fire.
Hey everybody, thanks for listening. And don't forget, click the links in the description to subscribe to the Tough As They Come YouTube channel and wherever you listen to podcasts. We have some great guests lined up you're not going to want to miss.